Your brain is also a muscle.
Yes.
And you need to treat it like it's a muscle. And that's when this rest will come into play, to where either you need to rebalance yourself or ground yourself, or during that rest that you have, you're figuring out other ways to determine other blockers that you have to figure out how to push through that for your better well-being, to have that growth.
Sometimes when you're processing and you're healing, your perspective of the world is changing so fast that you got to kind of just breathe for a minute.
Yeah.
And just take a second to just relax and take stock in how far you've come.
You have stress plus rest equals growth. So everything that, you put a lot of stress on this one focal point of your bicep, but if you don't have that rest, like you won't grow. This is where your muscle will get the extra, where it dives into getting the oxygen and getting the protein to being able to rebuild what you've already tore. But a lot of people don't have that rest as a focal point of it, so they're not seeing so many results.
If I'm having a bad day or having a headache, pretty much any headache nowadays, I can get rid of any headache that I have with a 10 to 15 minute grounding. A rich man has 1,000 problems, but a sick man only has one.
This is the Real S.O.P, a space for leaders, dreamers, and doers who want to live and lead from peace, not pressure. This is the sole operating procedure. Welcome home.
All right, so we're talking about holistic healing.
Holistic healing. What is holistic healing?
Different methods of healing that don't necessarily fall under the Western medicine of taking a pill.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's my uneducated way of saying what holistic healing is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the non-conventional side of healing practices.
Yeah. And maybe it's how we used to, the methods we used to use, saying non-conventional, that's how it is now, but
In Western society.
in Western society, but 500, 1,000, 5,000 years ago, all this stuff was used, and people were healing from ailments without a lot of the methods that we're using today.
Yeah. So I guess we could just start on what some are, or what the traditional biases are talking about, or why is this not widely known in the Western society?
I think we're moving as a society towards all kinds of things. The first thing would talk about Reiki.
Reiki.
Reiki healing.
Okay.
I know that's basically a Japanese energy healing modality where practitioners channel universal life force through their hands to support relaxation, release blockages, and balance the body. And a fun fact is that hospitals like the Cleveland Clinic and Johns Hopkins now use Reiki volunteers. So they're bringing folks in to implement this on top of the traditional medicine that we've been teaching in schools, which is, I think, a beautiful way to get the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm. Japanese society, they got a lot of ancient wisdom and medicine.
They do.
Yeah.
I actually know a little bit about Reiki, and Reiki was actually created by a gentleman in the 50s, in the 1950s. He started it. I do believe it was, another form of healing, but yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I've actually gone through a Reiki course, had Reiki done on me 3 or 4 times. A couple times when I was in the class, learning how to do it, because we all took turns practicing Reiki on each other. And I actually went to the guy who taught the class, and had it done another time. And it's a pretty amazing experience.
What sparked your interest into going into a Reiki class, or why even bother?
Just the energy side of it.
Yeah.
Since I've been on my spiritual journey, the healing side, or the energy side of healing, just has intrigued me on all fronts. Anything energy, anything, it's kind of got me intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. Like it was two of the most mystical days of my life. And it was a very, very strange and amazing couple of days learning how to do Reiki and being on the table. And in one of the Reiki sessions that I was the person laying on the table, the session was being done to, I felt like I sunk 2 feet into the table, and the practitioner was kind of pointing at my table and telling the person that was doing it, "Look, he's floating. Look, he's floating." They ended up telling me about that afterwards, but it was weird for them to say that and me not know it. And then afterwards, it literally felt like I sank into the table. In reality, from their perspective, I was rising off the table. That was one of the weird things, but there was a lot. And for me, it was really strange doing that to somebody else, being the Reiki practitioner, because I was getting all kinds of strange thoughts and emotions that weren't mine. I knew they weren't mine. And it was all to do with what was going on with the person I was working with.
Huh.
And so that connection became very physical and it was tangible.
Huh.
So it was a pretty amazing experience. Pretty cool.
That is
This
cool.
weekend.
You got curious about your energy.
Yep.
Let's back in up to energy. So energy. So there's physical energy, there's mental energy, there's spiritual energy.
Yeah.
I would assume.
I would think, yes, there is all three of those. Well, it may all be one, I don't know, but I think we experience all three of those things in different ways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So some of these holistic approaches can kind of help fix some of the energy blockers.
Yeah,
Physical,
yeah,
mental,
and
spiritual.
there's a lot of other stuff out there as well. There's meridians in our body, and a lot of different modalities like Ayurveda. It's been around for over 5,000 years.
What is Ayurveda?
Ayurveda is a 5,000-year-old Indian system of medicine based on the balancing of three doshas: Veda, which is air; Pitta is fire; and Kapha, which is earth. It's all about the food that you digest, whether it's good for you or not good for you. And right now, we all classify doctors classify all of us in the same boat
Mhm.
in Western medicine.
Mhm.
And in Ayurveda, they test people and they put them in one of three or a combination of two
Of these doshas.
of these doshas. That's
Okay.
correct.
So you're either air or a fire or an earth
Yep.
dosha?
Yep.
Okay.
And you could have a combination of air and fire or earth and fire, or, you know,
Okay.
and and then they they specifically target you with certain type of foods you should be eating and certain foods you should not be eating.
Based on your dose.
Based on you. Like I could do really well with spicy foods, but spicy foods might make you sick.
Mhm.
And like it might physically be poisoning you at some level, and you should never eat them. And it's good for me to eat them. It actually helps me.
Hmm.
So in the Western world, we look at everybody that we should all be having the same
Mhm. Like the
diet.
food pyramid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they look
Tailored
at
towards
they look at it completely different.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Turmeric is now a trendy wellness ingredient that the Ayurvedic state was the Ayurveda temple or template for thousands of years.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been using this stuff for thousands of years. So,
I love turmeric.
yeah.
I mix my own little wellness shot. I don't know if y'all know, but my background is in exercise physiology. So this kind of makes sense in a lot of ways, and I can kind of make a connection as we keep going about this. But turmeric mixed with cayenne and
Mm.
black pepper is like one of the best juices you can have for yourself. Apparently, it helps vasodilate some of the blood and your arteries, and it just gets everything flowing, and you're basically immune to sickness. So I'll take a shot of that every now and then.
There you go.
But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. But yeah, turmeric, highly believe in
Yeah.
for sure.
I read a book on Ayurveda, and apparently there's some masters in that tradition, and they have amazing, you almost call it superpowers. And they're healing people from diseases with milk and onions. their approach to healing people is just it's otherworldly.
So how do you know about the doshas, about how they put you in that type of category, or is it more just the practice and the methodology of how they're doing it that determines it? Or
So there's tests that they'll run on you. They know how to identify you. I don't know them, but in the book they talked in depth about it, and they actually give you some of the different methods on how to do it. But if you wanted to focus on this, you basically go through a test on the front end, and then you get a classification of what type of thing you are, and then that classifies you to what type of foods you should be eating, and then the ones you should also stay away from.
Huh.
That's pretty cool. It's very, very interesting um, stuff there. And if what Ayurveda folks are doing is real, which I do believe that it is, if it could ever get a stronghold, I believe there's a lot of illnesses that they can handle and get rid of very easily.
yeah,
Yeah, it was the book that I read was extremely powerful. I need to get that and put it in our notes for this podcast. It was super cool.
makes me think of, like, I don't know why, but like acupuncture or
Mhm.
identifying chakras or anything like
Well,
that, as in how they are doing their methods.
It's
Certain
so there's meridian points.
meridian
A
points.
lot of what they do is they'll find a meridian point and they'll put pressure on it, and then they'll mix it with some type of an herb or a vegetable or something, or even milk, which I thought was weird. And a combination of those things will solve a certain problem.
Hmm.
Apparently, when the meridian points get blocked, that's when energy stops flowing the right way, and we start to have certain not even illnesses, but just like slow aging, or increases the aging process or slows it down.
Stress,
Yeah,
certain stressor points.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so those meridian points, they're supposed to be like an open, free flowing point of energy.
Huh.
They're tied to our endocrine glands,
Hmm.
and it makes your organs healthier, basically.
Right.
All these
It
meridian
loosens
points.
that blockage
Yeah.
and allows your body to do its natural state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meridian points are used in a lot of different healing methods.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about them. I know where some of them are. There's a lot of them in our hands. There's some of them in our waist section, like right in the lower belly, and there's a bunch of them. And you put pressure on certain ones in your feet, in your hands, it relieves.
Well, it's kind of like the acupunctures, right?
Yeah,
Like if you had acupuncture, which they've done a lot of studies and they're showing some good results about acupuncture, but it's kind of the same point. It hits a certain stressor and
yeah.
then it can I mean, I don't even know how acupunctures work,
Yeah.
but I would assume that this is good feeling, this is bad feeling or something.
Yeah, I think they actually in acupuncture those folks who are skilled at it they'll find meridian points and use those along with a lot of other stuff that I don't understand.
Hmm.
There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. Another one is balancing chakras, which I have a little bit of experience in that one as well. This one also does with has the major endocrine glands included. So like each one of your 7 chakras will mess with an endocrine gland, which affects your adrenals, your ovaries, your testes, your pancreas, your thymus, your thyroid, your pineal gland, and your pituitary glands. So when the 7 major chakras aren't basically open and flowing the right way, you start to have, problems in those glands, which can spread and trickle down into all type of things.
How would someone know if they have a chakra imbalance?
This is actually, we talk about my program on this podcast, and this is actually one of the weeks in my program. You are an energetic being having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I try to get everybody to make that a knowing is to do chakra balancing meditations, guided meditations. You can find them on YouTube. They're endless. And then you could find a chakra balancing meditation on there, and they're amazing. Like, we don't realize that we have all this stuff going on the inside of us. But literally, if you just find one that's at least 40 minutes long, because you got 7 chakras, and you want to be able to spend at least 4 or 5 minutes in each energy center. And for most people, the first time they do it, you're going to feel 1, 2, or 3 different energy centers, maybe all of them, but most people will just feel a couple, 2 or 3 of them. And those are the ones that are healthy. And the more you do it, the more you stay with any one of them, that'll open them up. And so if you do a chakra balancing thing that's 25 minutes or something, you got 7 centers. You're only going to be in each one of them for 3 minutes. You don't have very much time to get through it and to open one up that's closed. You'll still feel the ones that are open, but you're not going to open the ones that are closed. I found the ones that last for about 2 hours are extremely cool, because all of them will open up in that amount of time with good, strong mental focus. It's an amazing experience, because you're just discovering a whole world inside of you that you didn't know existed.
Right.
Um, and then when you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, I actually feel that energy center at the base of my spine. That is pretty cool. And then, all right, so what does that mean? What does this area mean? Well, that's your connection to the earth. If I'm having a bad day or having a headache, pretty much any headache nowadays, I can get rid of any headache that I have with a 10 to 15 minute grounding meditation.
Interesting.
Super simple. All you have to do is put your feet on the ground, sit upright like I am right now, and just imagine that you're bringing golden or red light energy, fresh energy from the center of the earth up through the bottom of your feet. Feel it come through the bottom of your feet, up through your legs, through your knees, through your hips, up through your stomach, into the top of your head. And then as you exhale, you push it all down back out the same way. Feel it leave your body through the bottom of your feet, go into the center of the earth. And then I just replay that back and forth, getting fresh energy in and getting rid of the negative energy out. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll just stop when I know that the headache is gone.
Hmm.
And it's kind of amazing. I didn't know that I could do this. I actually got turned on to it from the guy that taught me how to do the Reiki session. I went to him because I was having migraines after doing core belief sessions, which was really weird, but they were really bad migraines that would put me down after doing rewriting a core belief with somebody when I first started doing it. And then I get these massive migraines, and holy moly, I couldn't even drive home some days. I have to pull over and sleep for an hour.
That's some crazy energy taken
Yeah.
out.
Well, the problem was it wasn't mine, and my
Hmm.
body didn't know how to process it. But a simple grounding exercise will just cleanse all your energy, and all of a sudden, I would go from having an 8 or a 9 headache, like a migraine type headache, to a 1 or a 2, and then the next morning I would be fine.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So you've got these little health centers that you've kind of got
Yes.
still that because of your overexertion or something, you've allowed yourself to identify what it is and then how to get it back to baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. So when your energy centers are vibrant, you're alive in that area of your life. And each one of the 7 chakras represents a part of your life. From 0 to 7, your heart chakra is active in young kids, right? They're learning what a door is, what a tree is, what their parents are. They're learning how to walk and talk. And so everything is new, and it gets settled in to that root chakra.
Mhm.
When you from 7 to 14, you're getting your creativity, your sexuality, and you're kind of growing in to the next phase of life. That's where all of that is stored, the type of person that you're attracted to, your creativity, if you're good at music or whatever it is that you're creative, that's where your creativity is stored. So your sexuality and your creativity is stored in that second chakra, your sacral chakra. And then your solar plexus, that's where your ego is stored. So as you start to attach things to your ego, That's where all that gets stored in your third chakra, solar plexus, and that one's active in people from 14 to 21. And that's where people, decide who they want. This is what I want to be when I grow up. This is who I am right now. I would never be that type of person. I'm going to be this type of person. And they start just attaching things. That's
Labeling. Yeah.
yeah. 21 to 28, heart chakra, pretty simple. You're trying to figure out who you love in the world, whether you want to have kids, if you want to be married, you're trying to solidify a family. That's when all that starts to grow. From 28 to 35, we are moving into the throat chakra. That's when we start watching or listening to podcasts, is turn off the radio. So a lot of you are probably in that age or older, because we kind of turn off music once we get to that age, and we also start to speak a whole lot more. We're kind of getting in tune with our voice. We know who we are a little bit more, and we're kind of speaking it out into the world of what we know, what we don't know. From 35 to 42 is our third eye, and it's kind of, we start to ask big questions of the world. We want answers, and we kind of get a thirst for knowledge. 42 to 49 is the crown chakra. That's what connects us to source, God, divine, whatever phrase you want to use. And that one typically opens up from 42 to 49, where a lot of people have spiritual awakenings. That's when I did. I had mine at 45 years old.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah, you could put it in that. You can put it in that bucket. But typically, spiritual is when you're looking for God or
Higher purpose.
higher purpose. What's my meaning here? And people might go buy, dump their wife and go buy a sports car during that time because they don't understand what's happening. They're in search of something new and not getting the right guidance through that time. But
Interesting. This is interesting. So when you're saying that this is when all of this stuff is happening, this is when your body's intentionally, because I'm assuming it's just in a range. I mean, you can have your crown chakra open up earlier.
yes, you can,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
by whatever dasha.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. This is when your body is getting a lot more susceptibility to that energy to have that focal point of
Mhm.
that certain area.
Well, it's kind of the roadmap of how we all evolve.
Yeah.
It's kind of a roadmap. Now, some people are going to accelerate and take off, and some people are, going to follow it to the T, and some people are possibly going to be slower or whatever. But it's a pretty good gauge on how people's lives are going to go and kind of fall in. And what I understand about this is where all of our memories are stored. This is where we are. Like, everybody uses the brain as a like, everything's stored in the brain and everybody's mapping it. But the mapping it is just where the information is being processed. To me, this is like a radio, and at any one time there's 50 stations going, but you can only be tuned into one at a time.
Ah,
The information is coming from our body.
right.
And science is proving that as well right now. Science is
Correct.
proving that pain and suffering and all that stuff is and trauma, it's all stored in the body.
Or somewhere, yeah, because it's energy,
It's
right?
energy, yeah.
It's negative emotion, or it's some type of something that's,
Yeah.
put it somewhere.
Yeah. When it's processed in the brain.
Right. So everything that I've learned in the exercise world is you have stress
Mm-hmm.
plus rest equals growth. So everything that, for, let's say, your bicep, you put a lot of stress on this one focal point of your
Yep.
bicep, but if you don't have that rest, like, you have to, you won't grow. This is where your muscle will get the extra, where it dives into getting the oxygen, to getting the protein, to being able to rebuild what you've already tore. But a lot of people don't have that rest as a focal point of it, so they're not seeing so many results. And I feel like I'm making a connection right here, but your brain is also a muscle,
Yes.
and you need to treat it like it's a muscle. And
Yeah.
that's when this rest will come into play, to where either you need to rebalance yourself
Yeah.
or ground yourself, or during that rest that you have, you're figuring out other ways to determine other blockers that you have to figure out how to push through that for your better well-being to have that growth. Did that make any sense?
It did. And I immediately go to, everybody talks about food, water,
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
We got to have all three of those things to
Yep.
survive.
Uh-huh.
But there's another one that nobody talks about, nobody thinks about,
Huh.
but it's sleep. If you don't
You
get
gotta sleep.
rest,
Yeah.
you will die. Your
Yep.
brain cannot handle the way that it functions. It has to turn off.
It has to turn off.
And so when you're rebalancing these things, when you're getting proper rest because you're healthier, you're going to be a healthier human just because of the rest that you're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
this
I
is where
definitely
your
think you're all over something.
yeah, this is where your brain is making the connections and solving problems that you didn't even think you had because you're not getting distracted by all of these dopamine hits of your instant gratification world, right?
Yep.
So being intentional about it too could probably 2x, 3x
Oh man.
some of it.
Yeah. Here's another thing that goes to what you're saying. I dove into all of this stuff like a crazy man.
Yeah.
I had
That
to
does
rest.
surprise me.
I had to rest, man. I was drinking too much Kool-Aid.
Yeah, yeah.
I can only handle so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this information. Sometimes when you're processing and you're healing, your perspective of the world is changing so fast that
Uh-huh.
you got to kind of just breathe for a minute.
Yeah.
And just take a second to just relax and take stock in how far you've come and just exist with the new information that you have right now, because a lot of this it's heavy and it's kind of life altering. And then you do it again and you do it again and like how many times can my perspective change?
Yeah.
How many times can I realize that I really don't know shit about
Right.
anything?
Yeah. The more you learn that.
Yeah.
There's so much information out there and so many different things. And, our brain's just trying to tell us based on previous experience,
Yeah.
how to keep us healthy and safe. But yeah, that's crazy.
The yogis of the past have mapped the chakra system long before Western science ever had microscopes to be able to back up these chakra systems. Like you could physically find a chakra system with a microscope, but they've been identifying and talking about these for years, because if you close your eyes
Mhm.
and you go inward, you can experience them. You
Mhm.
don't need a microscope to know that they're there,
Mhm.
but most people never close their eyes long enough to go inward.
Mhm.
But we all know that the universe is infinite, and we see these pictures of the galaxy far, far away, and we can't even travel. Our brain can't even fathom how far the universe is. But when we close our eyes and go inward, it's my understanding that it's equally as vast.
Mhm.
Like it's amazing. Every time I close my eyes and go inward, I'm discovering something new and a place that I could go, and it's amazing. But if you don't know how to look and you don't have a certain level of coaching,
Mhm.
which all you have to have is a phone these days, when most of my coaching came from, but there's so much information out there. And then if you just have the awareness and the attention, close your eyes and turn inward, ooh, all of a sudden everything starts to open up and you can experience a whole new world. Um, but these chakras, to me, I could turn them all on. Sometimes when I go to bed, I'll do various different meditations before I go to bed, but I'll lay there in bed and I lay on my back and I will open up the chakras in my palms. There's 2 chakras in your palm
Mm.
in the center. And then I'll open up the ones on my feet and I can feel all 4 of them. And then as I try to hold on to all those 4, and then I'll one at a time open up all my chakras. And then I'll try to hold all 11 of them open all at the same time and for as long as I can. And it's not easy to do. I constantly have to reopen them up and I lose, but I'm constantly trying to get it. And then once I get them and I'll hold them and I'll hold them, and all of a sudden I just start to feel amazing. But it took me 3 or 4 years of constantly going inward and messing with my chakras to be able to do that. But it's amazing, right? It's an amazing experience to be able to go to bed that way. I sleep like a baby when I do that right before I go to bed.
So are you getting like a sensation of like euphoria, or what are you feeling?
Lots of different chakras have lots of different responses. I do all this work with Chris Hancock, and I went in there one week and my heart chakra opened up, and it opened up like it had never opened up before. And it stayed open like that for about 2 or 3 months. And it felt like I was getting a hug from grandma.
Huh.
Like it just felt like the most amazing, loving sensation. And it lasted, like I said, for about 2 weeks. That when that happened, 2 weeks later, my third eye opened up in another session, and both of them stayed open for about 3 months. And at some point in the middle of all of it, they were open, but unless I paid attention to them, I couldn't feel it because I got used to it. It's just like we can get used to feeling uncomfortable and miserable. I got used to feeling this amazing feeling inside. So I I say all that to say each one of them will feel different, and sometimes depending on how much it opens, you'll feel something different. The heart chakra is the coolest one. I'll go ahead and tell you, like, the heart chakra is the coolest one. You literally feel unconditional love. It's amazing. But that's for me.
Yeah.
I've talked to other people who've messed with their third eye and they have mystical experiences. I've never truly had a mystical experience when my third eye is opened. I believe I can get information and downloads, which is pretty amazing in itself, but I've never had visions and being able to see things and, you know, but some people, that's how they, that's the response they get. Some people with their crown chakra, they have this whole get encompassed by this white light that just lights them up, and they had this whole mystical feeling like they're being touched by the hand of God.
Hmm.
There's lots of reports from lots of different folks, but my experience is buzzing energy in the chakra centers. And when I focus on it, it takes me a minute, but then I can get it to buzz, and it'll buzz, and I can move to another set, and that one will still buzz. But if I lose mental focus of it for very long, it'll kind of dissipate and kind of go away, and then I'll have to regain focus.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's all really crazy in the best way.
it is.
Because it just shows that there's so much there that we don't know about our own bodies. And I know that we're a machine, and the more intentional you are about it, I mean, the more that you can tap into or unveil.
Yeah. It's a hidden world.
Yeah.
It's a hidden world. There's a hidden world all around us. I am a firm believer of that. And there's just so much that I have no concept of.
Right.
Like we just said a minute ago, but like there's just so much. It's the more I
Our
got.
tiny brains couldn't comprehend.
And some of these yogis that are walking around the earth today, I don't think I think in certain areas of the parts of the world they do get credit and they are revered. Some of these people are they're extraordinary. They're capable of doing things that are unimaginable. And
Like superpowers.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I feel like I have superpowers, like when I first started to be able to feel people's energy when I was within 12 feet of them, I thought that was a superpower.
Yeah.
And over time it was like, it's not really that big of a deal. Everybody could do it. They just don't know they could do it. When I first started doing it, I thought I was the only one that could do it.
Right.
And what these yogis are capable of doing, we can all do too. We just don't know how to quiet the noise in our head to gain access to all of it. We're not aware of our abilities because
Distracted. There's just
too much
there's
noise.
so many things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too much noise. If we learn how to listen, and that's what being quiet and going inward is the focus. It's getting into the silence and listening, and then all of a sudden you start to expand on the inside, and the world starts to come to you in a different rate. It's pretty cool.
How could someone take anything practical and try to listen?
I mean, just simple meditation, breath work.
Yeah.
Closing your eyes while you're doing it. I'm a big believer that you could do breath work with your eyes open. You can meditate with your eyes open. But in order to truly open up a world on the inside and not just feel peaceful, joyful emotions, closing your eyes, getting into a quiet place for an hour, and just going inward for an hour. Use a guided meditation, use sound bowl meditations, use anything, whatever floats your boat, whatever your mind says, oh, that might be cool, try that, because that's probably what's best for you. And just go inward with silence and try to experience whatever is on the inside with no noise, and you'd be surprised where you end up.
Yeah. So I know that there's like there's sound healing and there's
Yeah.
like the ASMR stuff I see on TikTok every now and then.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily, and there's some other things too where they're talking about hertz and listening to beats and inaugural beats and stuff like that. I've always found it cool, but I've never looked into it or I've never tried to meditate on something like that. Have you come across anything like that before?
So I actually just saw a TikTok of a guy who has Parkinson's, and he's kind of all over the place, and he's got this sound thing, and he smacks it, and he says, "This thing will stop my Parkinson's," and he puts it on his chest, and then he just stops moving. And Nikola Tesla said, if you want to figure out how the universe works, it's on vibration and frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And now science is catching up to that now too. They're basically saying every cell has nothing in it but receptors,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
receivers.
Yeah.
And they're pointed outwards, not inward. It's like they're receiving information from whatever's going on. Like there's also parts of science that's catching up with the fact that we are all now influencing matter around us. They have what they call a double slit experiment.
Oh yeah.
And when human consciousness is present,
Yep.
they get a different result.
Yep.
They take the human out of the equation and the consciousness out of the equation, and the light shines different on the wall
Yep.
than it does. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, but this is something the yogis have known for, thousands and thousands of years now, that they have an ability, that we have an ability to manipulate matter around us. It's pretty powerful when you start to dive in and really understand that we are far more than what we've ever been told. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. So many things I wanted to say. What the double slit that was for? What's the
The double slit experiment is basically they would shine light through it, and
but they don't the protons, right? Or
how just the light on the back of the wall, and then when you would remove a human from the experiment, there would be 3 lights,
right,
or vice versa, but there would be 3 slits on the back wall versus 2, depending on whether or not a human was in the room.
right.
So like we were altering light with our consciousness because we were present. Like what?
Yeah, the observer effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, controlling that, and it's atomic. What's the small study of it?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't get atomic habits out of my mind, but the whole reason why they were doing it was because they were looking at the smallest type of. This is dumb. I should know what this is. It's whatever. Going back to that though, with the intention and the receptors of certain things, like the rice theory that you've done with your kid.
Yeah.
Have we talked about that before on this?
I don't think we have. Yeah, I don't think we have. But yeah, talking negative or positive, you have a jar of rice that says love on it. You have a jar of rice that says hate.
Yeah.
And then every morning you get up and
Test it.
and all you got
One.
Yeah, all you gotta do is get on any social media and search that up,
Yeah.
and you're gonna see the results, and everybody's getting the same results. But the hate turns to mold, and the love is white rice, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The fascinating thing about that is you got love and you got hate, but if you ignore one of them, you're gonna get the same result as the hate.
Ah.
Hate and ignore are in the same category, and I thought that was pretty amazing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, if you ignore someone, you're treating them just as poorly as if you hate them.
What is okay? Let's dive into that. What does that mean? Is it shame or
It's unworthiness, I guess. I mean,
yeah?
if I told a story on one of our other podcasts about how my boss didn't acknowledge me when he came on the job site, and I was pretty pissed, ready to quit.
Yeah.
He made me feel like I was worthless.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't speak. He just ignored me. He could have called me a motherfucker, and I would have felt better than him just ignoring me.
Right.
So I think that's a good, pointer for me. Like, it's like, holy shit, like ignoring somebody is just as powerful as being mean or ugly to them.
It's being excluded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I guess that's what, loneliness, where some of that stuff comes from. You feel like you don't fit in the world, and it's pretty a miserable place. And I don't know that we fully have a concept of how painful that is, in the world. We always look at love and hate as these two opposites, but being ignored is pretty powerful. Makes me think about, when people are walking in and around me, I try to acknowledge everybody. Yeah. Ever since I learned that, I tried to acknowledge everybody all the time, almost over the top.
Yeah. You don't want any bad rice just floating around.
Yeah.
Over there.
Don't need any of that turning funky on my accord.
Yeah. Yeah. So that this goes back into communicating and including everybody.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's another one when we were preparing for this. There's somatic healing. The healing through the body, movement, shaking, posture, micro movements.
Okay.
Trauma gets stuck in the body, not the mind.
Yeah.
Somatic work teaches the nervous system a new story.
Okay.
I am so curious about this. It's great for chronic pain, emotional patterns, and I have a new idea why I'm upset, I have no idea why I'm upset. Apparently gazelles literally shake off trauma after escaping predators. Humans forgot how to do this. I know geese do this as well. So like if you ever see two geese on a golf course get into it and they fight, and then they'll take off and then they'll shake in the water, they're shaking off the trauma. And we don't know how to do that. We sit there and we hold on to the story of what's happening, and we're literally just holding on to that and creating negativity that are carrying with us. And the geese and the gazelle actually know how to release that negative energy and move on.
That's interesting. I've actually kind of done that, not knowing what I was doing, but I would physically shake something off.
Yeah.
Shake it off. Water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
But I never knew why I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to dive in and figure this out.
Yeah.
It basically says that the vagus nerve in the body, that's how they do this. They activate the vagus nerve in some way. And it's literally your body's built-in chill button.
Huh. The vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Huh.
Somatic healing.
That's cool.
This is next on my to-do list.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was actually wondering that because when you were saying that earlier, when you could read energy, in my head, I was like, I bet animals definitely can too.
Oh, yeah.
A gazelle is not going to wait for a lion to let him know he's in danger. Like he's sensing that he's prey.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, okay, how can I do that and know when I'm actually in danger or not, true danger? But then how do you shake that off?
Yeah.
Nerve.
Could you imagine that, a lion just chased us down and we barely escaped with our life?
Yeah.
And then 30 seconds later, oh, shake it off. Oh, all's good. Go back to eating grass. And we would be traumatized for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
We would never get over that. That lion messed us up.
Well, and we do that with driving, and almost getting into an accident, and you're just white knuckling the whole way, but you never do get to shake that off.
Yeah.
Unless you find a vice, that you think it's working, but it's not. You're just pushing it down. We need to get better at somatic healing.
Somatic healing is the way. We need to be more like gazelle and geese.
Yeah, definitely. Water off a duck's back.
Exactly. Just shake it off. Then, there's another one that is working really well to reprogram the subconscious mind. And, I don't necessarily know if it's a healing modality, but when you're trying to use it to quit eating or quit smoking, I would consider it that. But hypnotherapy is having a lot of success. People are going
Getting
to
hypnotized.
Yeah.
Ah.
They're basically reprogramming their subconscious mind for you and making it to where you never want to smoke again, that, you change your eating habits, instead of go getting, gastric bypass, people are losing weight by reprogramming their subconscious mind.
What do you feel about hypnosis?
It's kind of wigs me out a little. Yeah. I don't know that I like it, but I know it's real.
Yeah.
I do a form of reprogramming my subconscious mind. Um, and it's actually, I learned it from, uh, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very famous book. And the last couple chapters give some pretty cool little tools. But you could reprogram your mind to where when you wake up in the morning, you'll be like, holy shit, I gotta work out. I gotta work out. I can't do it this morning. Okay, you gotta go to work. And then you get home or you're at work and all day long, you're like, holy shit, I gotta work out. Maybe I can work out at lunchtime. You'll be trying, your brain will be programmed to think, I have to work out. And it's very simple to do. All you have to do is get yourself in an elevated emotional state and say, I have to work out. I need to get better. And then your brain for the next 3 or 4 days will be on high alert. I got to work out. I got to work out. And then it'll slowly start to lose its potency and then do it again and then do it again. And, I pushed through a lot of different things like projects that I wanted to complete, like writing my first book, writing the program that I created. And you get into a big project, you get halfway in and you kind of can lose steam.
Mm-hmm.
And I would reprogram my mind and then get myself into an elevated emotional state, put a clear intention in there. And then I had to go. I had to go. My wife's like, why can't you get off that computer? I don't know, but I have to keep going. I have to keep going. And it was because I programmed it. Those type of programs, they only last a little while, but you can just keep them going and you just re-up them. And you'll get a whole lot done. You'll be a little miserable.
Yeah.
If you don't physically do it. Like you will be miserable if you don't work out.
Right.
Like if you program your mind like that and then you don't work out, you shouldn't have done it because you're going to be miserable. It's easy to forget about it when you're not programming and messing with it, but it's like your brain is just hardwired. I got to do this right now.
What's the difference of like saying you've got an exam, you got to turn in your paper at midnight tonight, and is it kind of like because you're realizing that there's a high pressure situation that it's, I guess I don't know where I'm going with my question, but
So you're trying to understand the mechanics of it.
yeah,
All right. So it's
change your state, you change your
so everything. So not everything, because there's lots of ways to program the subconscious. One of them is auto-suggestion.
uh-huh.
So if you put, and I actually do this in my program, I make everybody come up with their the antithesis of whatever problem they have. So and this works for a lot of women. Most women that I know that are beautiful, they look in the mirror and they do not see beauty.
Uh-huh.
They look in the mirror and they're like, oh my gosh,
Just call out all of
oh my gosh, that's all they see is the negative. But if you put a sticky note on a mirror and it says, I am beautiful, and you put it up there, and then every morning, every time you see it, as soon as you see it, you say it out loud. I am beautiful. The first week you're going to say it and you're going to feel like you're lying every time you say it. But over time, auto-suggestion will program the subconscious mind. After about a month, you'll look in the mirror and go, damn, girl, today. Like, the subconscious mind will literally start to believe it, but it takes time. Auto-suggestion. It's how we learn how to drive.
right.
It's slow and it takes time. It's how we learn how to walk. It's auto-suggestion. You didn't just learn how to do it. You did it over time. This other type of programming that I'm talking about, these little short bursts, is how all of our trauma was created, right? All these old negative core beliefs I talk about in my program and we talk about from time to time, they're all created when we get ourselves into an elevated emotional state with a clear intention. And that is how our subconscious minds get programmed. And like for me, when I was 5 years old, I created a core belief that said I was stupid because I couldn't spell Michael, and my teacher was getting frustrated with me, and so she had me write Mike, and I did it, but I got into an elevated emotional state. I could tell that all the other kids could spell their name, but I couldn't, and it left me feeling stupid. So elevated emotional state, clear intention was that I was stupid. Well, that's a negative way that our subconscious mind works. But you could do it whatever you could play with it. Like, you are the computer program of your subconscious mind. So you can create it to do whatever you want. So if you want to make it to where you could work out, if you want to make it to where, you could write a book, or, learn piano or whatever, you could get into an elevated emotional state, which isn't the easiest thing, but then have a clear intention in that emotional state. And then boom, you're good for the next 3 or 4 days. And then it moves on. Yeah.
Elevated emotional state.
Yeah. With a clear intention. That's how you program your subconscious mind. That's the most powerful way that it's done. And when you're doing it to like work out, or you're doing it to do whatever, if you don't associate a negative thing with it, it's going to wear off really quick. And I don't like to attach a negative thing, because I do want it to go away at some point. But if you did attach a negative thing, like, hey, I want to lose weight because I'm negative thing. Well, now all of a sudden it's going to last a lot longer than a couple days, 3 or 4 or 5 days, because negative core beliefs are going to be held at a high level, because your subconscious mind is going to use that to try to protect you. But what I understand about, if you just give it a clear intention that you want to do anything, it'll be at a high level for a minute, and then it's going to realize, wait a minute, there's nothing negative to protect me from here, and it'll just lose its intensity over 3 or 4 days.
So you have to constantly go back and keep it going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll reinforce itself, and over time you'll achieve that goal, and then you won't need it anymore.
So then it kind of could be like a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lifestyle change is exactly what you can use it for. Yep. Building a new business, getting up earlier in the mornings, like, you could do it to be your alarm clock, and you will wake up when it's telling you to wake. You'll probably wake up early. Yeah.
It's almost like purpose, which is ultimately why we do anything, why we get out of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do we? When we say, oh, I want to work out, what makes us actually take that step?
It's your why.
Yeah.
It's got to be powerful.
Yeah.
At an elevated state.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. You program it into that, and that gives you the gumption, so to speak.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
I love gumption.
It gives you the motivation you need to get out of bed. I've always pondered on when you want to take action.
Why is motivation never there?
Well, what is that moment between get up and don't? That moment that actually makes you move. What's the trigger? Because, I go through it all the time. I'm working on all this stuff, but I'm continuing to work on it. And I could be sitting there and I'm like, all right, I want to do those new exercises that I've seen. I've been trying to do a bunch of Qigong exercises. I'll be sitting home on a Sunday knowing that I need to be doing some of these, and sometimes I will and sometimes I won't. But what is that moment that makes you actually move? Like in the morning, my alarm clock goes off. I usually lay there for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and then I get out of bed. But something makes me get up. Like, what is that? I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer for this, but
well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could skin this. I mean, I know one is our brain's trying to tell us not to do it because it likes being comfortable and consistent.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins talks about she doesn't hit the snooze button, but when she is about to turn off the alarm clock, she goes, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go. And she doesn't think about it. She doesn't even give her brain time to even argue with herself. She just, as soon as that countdown happens, that's when she goes and she's up and ready. So I've been trying to do something along those lines, but ultimately, yeah, what's that driving, motivating force for why?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because I think that you hit the nail on the head is the why. If you have a why, you're going to get up. Because I know when I hit my alarm clock, if it's 5 or 10 minutes, but at some point, I never stay past that because my why is I'm not going to be late.
I'm not going to be late.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't be late. I have
Mhm.
set the example. I cannot be late.
Mm-hmm.
So I never stay past a certain point. That's my why.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty cool topic.
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of different ways we can go about it. I mean, light therapy is huge. I know my wife is doing the red light with the
Yes.
face mask. Oh yeah. She's been doing that for a minute.
I've seen those on TikTok.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She does it.
What are they supposed to do for you?
There's a lot of good that comes with red light therapy. But apparently it's great for your skin. And I guess that was kind of the marketing that they did for that.
Okay.
I know red light's good for dark time. Or it's the opposite of blue light.
And
I know that there's blue ray glasses that are supposed to help you with computer screens, and it cuts that out. But yeah, there's a lot that's on here that we could easily tap into or make into another episode one day.
well, I tell you what, we'll come back to this when I get done learning how to do somatic healing. I'm gonna be doing some weird shit, and healing. Figured out how to heal in a lot of ways mentally. I want to figure out how the body is tied into that, how I could be that duck that just that geese that shakes and gets rid of my trauma just that quick.
Yes,
If that's real, I want to learn how to do that.
absolutely. Is there anything we can give the listeners or viewers, one little ending?
Just keep an open mind. Don't get settled in on any one thing. Modern medicine today is bringing Reiki healing in to work with patients. They're bringing in, they're mixing fasting, which is a huge, a big deal, but they're mixing fasting and chemotherapy now.
Okay.
Like, so clearly we're living longer now than we used to because of modern medicine.
Mhm.
We just are. But to lose everything that we learned about the mind and body in the years past and to combine them, I think that's the next level of human evolution, is to mix modern medicine with the holistic. And it's happening all around us right now.
Yeah.
So I would just say to everybody, let's just keep an open mind and try to do a little research and try something. Open up, broaden your horizons, and let's try something.
Yeah, try something new. See what it does for you.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's getting your health as your number one priority.
Yeah.
So you can take care of yourself and take care of the people around you.
A rich man has 1,000 problems, but a sick man only has one.
Boom. Boom. And that's the real SOP.
Good job.
At the end of the day, system needs soul and leaders need stillness. Ownership starts with you. Show up for your people the way you first show up for yourself. That's the real SOP. We'll see you next time.